Good morning. Today is February the 26th, 2025. We're about to end the second month of this year and be jumping into the third month very quickly. Every year, January and February just fly by, or at least for me. Maybe the two fastest months of the year, except maybe December. It just flies by. But we're into February. We had some beautiful weather yesterday and looking to have some today. But it's still winter time. Today, Wednesday, the title of our lesson is Communing in a Worthy Manner. Communing in a Worthy Manner. We're talking about, the theme this week is Jesus cleanses the temple. We're getting into the last week of Jesus' life and things that happened there. Today's scripture comes from Mark chapter 11 and verse 17. Communing in a worthy manner. He writes this. Will Hanstein writes this. Roseanne Barr holds the dubious distinction of singing the worst rendition of the national anthem that has ever been sung before a baseball game. Do you remember that? That was a long time ago. On July the 25th, 1990, before a San Diego Padres baseball game, Roseanne proceeded to sing off-key and make several lewd and crude gestures mimicking baseball players. This caused a great deal of outrage, even earning a rebuke from the President of the United States. Roseanne took something considered sacred by many, the national anthem of the United States, and turned it into something common. Boy, let's not ever take that national anthem that we appreciate and that we honor as just something common. And he writes here, even crude, not just common, but even crude. Many felt this demeaned what America stood for and what many Americans had died to protect. Jesus felt indignant when he saw that God's holy temple had been turned into a place of commercial business. The merchants who cheated the worshipers made him even more indignant. Jesus says, Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers? Mark chapter 11 and verse 17. His indignation prompted him to overturn the tables and drive them out. Jesus refused to condone how men had made what was holy, God's temple and his worship, into something common and crude. The Corinthians had the same problem with the Lord's Supper. They had turned a very holy act of worship, communing with Jesus and his church, into something common and crude. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 17 through 34. They made the Lord's Supper into their own supper by refusing to allow some Christians to participate, while others feasted so much they became drunk. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 20 and 21. He asked this, what should have been holy and unifying act of worship instead was reduced to a crude party resulting in division. And when Paul writes to them about the Lord's Supper, he mentions there's division among you. And they allowed this to happen. As we partake of the Lord's Supper every week, let us remember the sanctity and the holiness of it. Here's the sentence for this reading. As we partake of the Lord's Supper every week, let us remember the sanctity, and the holiness of it. Today, he writes, today I will remember the death of Jesus Christ and understand this sacred act of worship brings me closer in my fellowship with him and other Christians. Just in a half a week. In just a half a week, we'll be doing that. This week will end on Saturday, and on Sunday, the first day of the week, will meet together to worship together, and will all participate together in eating the Lord's Supper. Let's not make it something common, and certainly not make it something crude. I never forget several years ago, as a preacher, I would wait on the table and I would help serve the congregation, and come up on a mom and a young girl. And as I was passing the bread and passing the fruit of the vine, and the mom had her iPad open, and she was a seamstress and was looking at patterns of dresses and stuff, she and her daughter. Now, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, but I thought, that's just making this, what we're doing, just something common, not examining ourselves, not making sure we eat this in a manner that's worthy, that's right. So let's make sure this Sunday when we come together, that as usually the guy up front says, hey, let's put everything aside. Let's clear our mind of all things, and let's eat the Lord's Supper together. I hope you have a good Wednesday today. I hope you'll be in Bible study tonight. Jackie and I are looking forward to be with the Woodlawn congregation tonight, and if you have opportunity, come visit us at the Woodlawn Church of Christ at 7 o'clock. We're on Highway 72 across the street from Newbern's Restaurant, just down a little bit, but across the street from Newbern's Restaurant. We'd love to have you to come and be with us. There'll be a good lesson, there'll be some good singing, a good lesson, and then we'll have a Bible class and good teaching. We're studying in the book of Acts. Caleb Sampson is leading our study through the book of Acts, and it's a good study. Please remember those who are sick and not doing well. Remember Tommy and Natalie and Lana and Ruth, and remember Gary Penley. Gary should be through with his treatments, or right near through with his treatments. And remember my friend Farrell Cochran. He's having some breathing problems, some lung problems, and just so many more. Remember Harold, Norma Jean Rawls, and that they have a good day, and Harold feels strong and does as well as he can. And remember Ms. Norma Jean, too. Remember my brother Charlie and his wife Jeannie, as they're struggling with health. And remember Liberty Ann Brown, our great niece, as she has cancer, and they're treating it and working with her. And I hope, and hadn't talked to any of them in a week or so, but hope she's feeling well. But remember these people and so many more. But I hope you have a good day, and looking forward to seeing you in the morning.